Greetings of the Lariat. Welcome back to another episode of I Still Call It a Lariat. And today we are reviewing AEW's biggest show of the year, 2025's All In Texas. Boom. Steven, how we doing today? With me as always. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. There was definitely some big booms brought into Texas during the pre-show. That's exciting. That's really exciting. And then we had a marathon. The
longest show of all time.
The longest show of all time. The longest single night show of all time.
Pay-per-view, I think technically there's.
Yeah, the longest single night pay-per-view of all time. That's something. You're still something. Tired from it. See, you're still tired. You're yawning from it still.
This is a lot.
This was a lot. So Showtime, I obviously have thoughts on this, and I have thoughts on 6 hours, and I want to get that out first. Let me preface this by saying I thought this was a really good show. There are two things that I'm going to talk about before we get into the show, because I did like the show overall. I thought that, as per always, AEW did a very good pay-per-view. One, moving it to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I get the thought process. You don't want to deal with the cross-programming, but then you waited until basically you knew Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre were about to get into the ring before you even started your main event. So you are still dealing with cross programming. The other side of this is moving your biggest show of the year to not go head to head with Saturday night's main event is a lot like if WrestleMania 4 moved their time slot because they didn't want to deal with Clash of the Champions. Promotions cross scheduling like that has been happening since the beginning of time. It's not going to stop, and it's not going to stop it, and it's not new. My issue with it, my real issue with it being at 3 o'clock was, unfortunately, being at 3 o'clock means that the sun was out for the entire show, and this is where my nitpick comes in. It pulls away a little bit on the entrances. A lot of the entrances got sun-drenched. I'm positive that the Kazuchika Okada and the Kenny Omega entrances were supposed to be bigger than they actually were, and they actually got pulled back a little bit because it's not nighttime. We didn't get the cool Tokyo Dome entrance that we should have gotten from those two guys because the sun was still shining. It was still shining through the windows of Globe Life's field. Now then, on to 6 hours. 6 hour show. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, well, you got more bang for your buck. Yes, you did. You got a lot of bang for your buck. But at the same time, I heard someone else say this, and I do agree with this. I think doing a show that is this long becomes a disservice to your talent at one end of the card or the other, because this show was one long story. So you're either setting your main event up to have your crowd have wrestling fatigue by the end, or show fatigue by the end of this, which I'll admit they didn't have, but you're taking that huge chance, and the people who drew your money are now not getting the cheers that they deserve because you had to wait 4 hours for your triple main event. By the way, triple main event's not a thing.
Exactly. There's no one event.
You can do a main event and you can do a co-main event. There's no such thing as a triple main event. There's no such thing.
I don't believe in a co-main event either. 2 hours last. Just saying.
I mean, that's the true main event, but I just go by combat sports. They call the second to last match the co-main sometimes.
Sure, they call whatever they want.
It's not a real thing.
It's not really.
But John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page was the main event of the show. The other side, That was the main event. The other side of this that I'm going to talk about is because all of this was one single story, you had to have the commentators remind you what happened in the first match because you forgot about it because it happened 5 hours earlier. You had to have Excalibur and the guys talk about that Samoa Joe was taken out at some point during the show because it was crucial to your main event. I don't know. And again, maybe I'm just too old school with this one, but this was a lot. And with that said, I like this show. I thought this show, I've rewatched this show once, one full time and like one half time. This show has taken up about 16 hours of my life already.
This show is fantastic. I agree. I think that there's one match on this card that could have gone away. I think there's two matches on this card that could have been substantially shorter. But I think that there's a match of the year candidate on this show. I think there's potentially two match of the year candidates on this show.
I agree.
I think that there is two very well done Casino Gauntlet matches on this show. So
we're going to agree to disagree on that one.
That's all right. This card from top to bottom I thought was absolutely fantastic. It's too much. We always complain about it's too much, but they did the thing here. This is their biggest show of the year. If you're going to go bigger, if you're going to go longer, if you're going to go harder, you're going to do it.
Go all in.
Everything's bigger in Texas, buddy.
Everything's bigger in Texas. I guess that's what it was. So yeah, that's where I've told a lot of people, it's kind of like if you have a major rock concert and you have your main act, obviously, and there's probably an opener. There might even be two openers, but there's not four openers. There's not four openers that all get an hour set. That doesn't happen.
No, doesn't.
You know, they get even if you have four openers, the first two get 20 minutes at best. You get your 3-song set, your 4-song set, whatever. Next guys. Because it pulls.
Well, to start, normally we'd ask, what was your favorite part? All this back and forth, but with a card this long, I think we should just kind of get into it.
Let's get into it
and not try to get too far. The first match is actually the one I understand why it's on the card. I understand what it does for the storylines, but the trios titles match with the Ops versus the Death Riders is the one I was alluding to that didn't need to be here. This match itself, I get it. You wanted to see the Death Riders lose to kind of to bookend the entire story. The snap, crackle, and pop, I like to call it, or Pillmanized Samoa Joe, really setting the stage for things that are going to happen later on. Start pulling away some of Hangman's backup throughout the day. So I get all that, but this match was on the longer side and honestly just did not need to be here. Though it was a good trios match, and funny that they didn't take the titles off of the Ops, even though Joe is going to take a little bit of time off after having his head stuck between a chair, and definitely not to go promote Twisted Metal. And,
no, not at all.
It just goes to show you how little the trios titles really mean in the grand scheme of things.
And again, this could have been the last match on your pre-show instead of this. Yep. I thought the match was good enough.
It's good.
I am tired of Wheeler Yuta just in general. But this match was okay. Joe did Samoa Joe things. Powerhouse Hobbs had that awesome power slam off of the Doomsday device. So, I mean, and the Ops one, which This was a match that we didn't know was taking place when we previewed it originally. So when we found out about it, we both picked it. I actually knew that I wanted to go with Joe, and the match had actually already happened when Showtime had answered me, but he had not watched any of it yet. So
No,
I
not at
gave
all.
so I gave him his pass as picking who it was. We both obviously went with the ops. So no harm, no foul on that one.
No, and it was a solid match. It happened here again. You're right. They could have done all of this on the pre-show, made this a little bit tighter. Still had the imagery. They could have replayed on the main card the horrific scene of the snap, crackle, and pop on Joe. But we both have this one, and then we'll move on to the men's casino gauntlet, where
Men's
the
Casino
participants were in order: Mark Briscoe, MJF, Ricochet, Bandito, Takeshita, Mystico, Josh Alexander, Anthony Boning, Roderick Strong, Brody King, Juice Robinson's Returns, Kota Ibushi, The Beast Mortis, and Max Caster. 13 participants, solid amount. We quoted that there could only be 21, 22 on the preview earlier in the week.
14 participants. 14 participants.
What did I say? 13?
13.
Yeah, 14.
14.
Don't correct me. How dare you? How dare
How
you?
dare you?
No one even noticed. But we actually learned that it's an unlimited number of people. There could be 12,000 people join this match.
It could have been the entire crowd.
They could have been there.
They could have been.
Do you think if they run out of people in the back, they start pulling seat tickets, being like, row section 241, row 7,
get out
seat
there.
28, you're
come on down. It's like Bob Barker, just
they have big name tag. Michael Wright.
You know what? I'm going to give AEW a little bit of credit for these casino gauntlets, though, because they did something for these matches that in the past I have critiqued them for. And that was they actually announced during the show and during the vignette going into the show what the rules were.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that. I forget whether or not Justin Roberts said what the rules were, but I'm sure that the fans got to hear what the rules were through the vignettes that were obviously playing on all the video screens and stuff like that. But I am a big believer that you have to tell people what the rules were. What if this was your first AEW show that you ever watched? You don't know that as much as this is your specialty match. We don't know. And they did. In fact, that was where we figured out that there is an unlimited amount of people that could be coming in here.
The thing that I wish they would do now, to build on what they could do better with this, I wish they would show more in the back of people being ready to come out, or just waiting, because you have to have a queue of some sort. Like, it's not just like, quick, get out there. Like, people know when they're going to be up. Not that you want to give away any secrets or any surprise returns, but having people going out there and just seeing the disappointment that they were next, but the match just ended. I would like to see a little bit more of the background, the background kind of footage of who's standing in queue, who's hanging around, getting ready for it. Honestly, it would be cool if they kind of announced the field to a certain degree and then randomly call names in the back and where it seems like they don't even know when they're going to come out. So
that would be really cool. Showtime. Obviously, I picked this one wrong. You picked this one right.
Obviously, you did.
With that said, though, obviously my pick for this was Darby, as we said in the preview. I was obviously, since I picked him, I was clearly shocked that he didn't show up. There's a couple other people that I'm a little shocked because they were in the area. They're still under contract. Both these gauntlets, I'm a little shocked that they weren't in the show. I'm a little shocked that they didn't use Wardlow, who's healthy. He's one of the new American Gladiators. unless it's in his American Gladiator contract that he's not allowed to do this. But
is it a Pac-Man Jones situation?
Maybe
you could be tag team champions with R-Truth, but you can't actually get in the ring.
Yeah, you can't actually wrestle. Like I said, I think there was a couple guys that, I mean, you had 14 people, and we probably could have gotten at least one or two more if we were going to get some other returns. I do like Juice Robinson coming back. I would like Juice Robinson to maybe go back a little bit more towards his old look with his beard and his wild hair, and like be just the crazy man that he was, because he was I really liked it. I really enjoyed that look for him. But I'm happy he's back. He's a great worker. He was actually my favorite part of the Bang Bang Gang. And Mark Briscoe, it might not be an international treasure, but he is still a national treasure. That man does no wrong in my mind. We had Frank the Beast Mortos. That was attorney at law. That was kind of cool. He's been getting bigger spots because he's part of AEW's Power Couple now, so that's fun. Like I said, I really like the men's. My critique is on the women's, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But I
think the women's was arguably better than the men's, but the end of this match was absolute poetry in motion. The MJF, the build to this of him telling Mark that the wrong brother died, really getting in there and pressing all the right buttons. Mark Briscoe being there at the end, hitting his brother's finisher to win the match, and then MJF coming out of nowhere to throw him out of the ring.
Yep.
And steal the win in one of the most dastardly ways I've seen in a long time. Was freaking poetry. Chef's kiss. And I think it's a great spot to put MJF in the world title picture now. Like, it's interesting because I this is the end of a chapter with the Death Riders and whatnot. Like, they should now let's resettle the title picture, the hierarchy of everybody. And MJF going up into that world title spot is the right move to get him in that moment.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think this show is a reset for the next year. And here's the thing: as much as I said I'm not a big of fan of the women's Casino Gauntlet, I'm not mad about any of the people who won these matches. Like, I think those were the right they were the right picks for who won overall.
Even though you didn't pick either of them.
Even though I didn't pick either of them. I love Athena. I didn't think it was going to be her. They haven't featured her enough on AEW television, although I guess that doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong, she's a star. Ember Moon, Athena, whatever you want to call her. But I also thought that if she was going to win, we might get a little bit. I thought they might lean a little bit more into the women's title match a little bit more. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah. So all in all, I thought it was a solid match. We were saying on the previous show how much we like the Casino Gauntlet rules and whatnot. I would like to see one of these matches end before the second participant gets in.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if they've ever done it. Like
just immediately.
Immediate. Like a quick get in there, knock them down, win the match out of nowhere. Kind of a Goldberg-esque match.
Yeah. I think that would be
jackhammer, match is over, being like, that
would be a really good return for Wardlow, actually. If you knew who the number one was, and it's like, yeah, I'm the number one, and then number two is Wardlow, and he comes out and just decimates him. And it's like, well, sucks to suck. I got my title shot.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
So going into the next match, we had shenanigans at this point in time. Injuries.
True injuries. I've heard multiple claims. So
Yes.
we will not speculate on what the injury is, because I've heard 3 or 4 different things, everything from a concussion to his ankle to a possible horrific illness. So all I can say is I've heard nothing but good things about Adam Cole this whole week since this show happened. And what I will say is, whatever the issue is, I hope he gets onto the other side of this as quickly as possible, because I feel so bad for this man that he keeps dealing with this.
Yeah, the rumored ailment the only one that I had heard was concussion. And concussions are one of those things that can end careers and do end careers. And something you have to be hyper serious with. I haven't heard anything else. Not a doctor.
Not a doctor, not going to speculate on what they are. That's not what we're here for.
But that was the news that I heard from a reputable source, was that it was concussion issues. But at the same time, he apparently was going to go in there to retire, and the back kind of talked him out of it to say, "Hey, wait until you're just in a little bit better headspace before you go out there and you retire." So you take that as you will. That also speculating, just kind of hearing the news out there. So wanted to throw that in there. I'm kicking myself for not picking this right, to be honest with you, Steven. This one, there's actually 2 matches on this that I chose wrong. Actually, the both of them. There's only 2 in this whole show that I got wrong of 11 and a half matches, and this one I'm kicking myself for not getting right or not changing, because you'd reached out after they changed this, asked if I was going to keep Fletcher. You had Fletcher, and when it turned into a 4-way in Texas, I should have saw this coming. You have Dustin winning in a fantastic manner of a nice little crucifix at the end after getting put into the dragon sleeper with your legs. Is that what I caught that as? Your boy Tony Schiavone calling the sharpshooter a dragon sleeper, or it was all legs. There was no
like
sleeping.
Daniel Garcia does. He pushed him. Literally, it was a reversal that you and I have done, except for you did it with the cloverleaf. But Daniel Garcia does a modified sharpshooter, and he just pushed himself out of it and small packaged him, which was awesome. Like, that was the way it should end. And then, you know what?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
You know what? I will say this. I was sticking with Fletcher. I understood it was Dustin. I understood it was Sammy. They're both the sons of Texas. The real reason I wasn't changing it was because Dustin and Sammy also already wrestled that night. They were on the pre-show. And I thought that was enough reason for them not to get it. I thought they also weren't going to take the pin. I thought that Fletcher was going to beat Garcia at this point. I thought Garcia was taking the pin one way or another in this. Or taking the loss one way or another.
When they changed this to a 4-way match, we both should have been like, okay, Fletcher's not winning. Because when you change it in that way, I feel like they always have to be, okay, Fletcher is going to win it later. We'll let that happen. We'll just put a little pin in that. What's the coolest way we can have this match end? And Dustin winning the TNT Championship in Texas is by far the coolest way to put this down. Crying after he wins it, all the emotion, him working his ass off all these years, get recognized in this way, I think was fantastic. It was the right story. This whole match was really, really good.
It was very good. I thought Sammy did a lot of really good work in this match. I know he didn't necessarily get as much of the crowd pop as he probably should have. I think and I heard this joke also. Dustin's getting this title, or getting all of these belts at this point, is kind of just his reward for babysitting Sammy Guevara. Because the first like 4 years that AEW was a thing, Sammy was kind of a a turd.
Mm-hmm.
And like now Dustin is like, stop being a turd. I'm bigger than you. I will smack you.
And he is, and he will. This is one of the matches, though, I said earlier on, this one could have been shorter.
This could have been
the
shorter.
Crowd never really got into it. Adam Cole's announcement right beforehand really sucked the air out of the whole building. I almost feel like that chat with the Crowd should have happened on Dynamite. Everyone was just like, "Oh no, what do I do at this point in time? Like, do I cheer? Or I just feel bad for Adam Cole." They did get into it at the end and whatnot, but this one, and not the Texas fans' fault either. This was a tough one to stay up once you hear someone essentially saying that they were going to retire, but he wants to wait until he really understands the issues and has his head on right.
I agree with you. I think this would have been good to have Adam Cole come out to hand the title to whoever won it.
Yeah.
And especially the way they kind of tease Sammy being a turd again at the end. I think the ultimate the ultimate feel good would have been Dustin wins, Adam comes in, they hand him the belt, Sammy snatches it from Adam to give it to Dustin himself because he's his tag team partner. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been like, no, I get it. We're all sad for you. I get to hand my partner the belt, though.
Yeah.
Still a good match, though. And again, like
match.
I said, I'm not mad about this show. This show was good. This could have been one of those that was 5 minutes shorter, though.
Yep. Let's tighten it up. Going to the next match, which I think is potentially match of the year contender. I know how much you love the Bucks, but this match had it all, including the most ridiculous entrances of all times. But we had Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. If the Bucks win, Will and Swerve cannot challenge for the WWE for the world title for the next year. And if the Bucks lose, they have to give up being EVPs. And guess who just got a demotion? Because we have Swerve and Will Ospreay taking this one down in just a spot. This was a banger.
This was the match I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie. This match was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
I don't know if you would have predicted it to be this good. You hate the Bucks.
I do. I dislike the Bucks, and you know who I really hate in this match, even more than the Bucks? Rick Knox, the referee, because he's the one who refs every single Bucks match. He's like a zombie ref. He might as well just be dead in the corner. And here's my one critique for this match on the bad side. They should have just called this a tornado tag team match. Mm-hmm. Should have just called it a tornado tag team match, and everything would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, yeah, I get this. But there was a lot of leeway given, and I'm not surprised. It's a Bucks match. It's also an Ospreay match. I will say my favorite part of this match was not the entrances, it was the entrance. It was Swerve coming out with JoJo Offerman singing him in to his indie theme song. For those who don't know, JoJo is the widow of Bray Wyatt, and that even right now, me saying it's I'm getting a little tingly. It's pulling on my heartstrings. And that was awesome. I loved having that. That was a really, really nice moment for this. And that got me. And then the match, they tore the house down. I knew they were going to leave no match or no move left undone. Every move that has ever been done in the history of wrestling was done in this match.
Yeah, sometimes it does get a little over choreographed, and like that's my only complaint for Will Ospreay ever is when they have the one move into another, into that chain of reversals that never seem to end, because it does feel like, okay, come on guys, this is a little practice. But at the same time, those were some of the best ones that I've ever seen of them going down that route of super kicked miss to hidden blade miss to this slip into this move out of that one. And really high paced, just four guys beating the tar out of each other and having a fantastic match. Again, this might be the match of the year.
I really like this match. I do like this match actually, and I will say this: this is the best Bucks match I've seen since their stuff with FTR, and that's I feel like that's saying something for the Bucks. I'm giving this match a whole lot of credit, and truthfully, I know that coming out of this that's not what's going to be happening, but I wouldn't mind seeing Swerve and Ospreay stay as a tag team and go after the tag team titles. Because
it won't happen, and things that happen later on. But I'm with you. I said that last show as well. I want to see these guys stick together. This could be a cool. These are the two guys who could actually beat the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, like they can give the Hurt Syndicate a run, and I agree with you. I think that would work, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. We did both pick this one correctly.
Of course we did, because you copied it. You copied me.
I picked it first.
Don't look my homework. Anything else for this match, Steven?
No, like I said, I think this will be a match of the year candidate, though this was not my favorite match on the card. I think we all know what my favorite match on the card is going to be. It's obviously the main event. It's not the main event.
I have things for the main event. I'll get there. Next was the women's gauntlet. In order, we had 12 participants. We had Chris Statlander, Megan Bain, Willow Nightingale, Tay Mello, Tekla. That one never gonna get there. Julia Hart, Queen, Aminata, Mina Shirakawa, Athena, Thunder Rosa, Sayuri.
Yeah.
And Alex Windsor. In that order. And we both had. Oh no, we didn't. Oh man, Steve, you had Statlander. I can't believe you picked Statlander. I did on the show choose Shayna Baszler because I thought that was fun. But leading up to it, we learned that she's doing backstage producing for NXT, meaning that there was zero chance that she was going to be on this show.
None.
So I pivoted to what I said in that show where I said I was originally going to pick Athena and went with that original pick. So I took Athena and called both gauntlets right. They definitely should have been worth more points because I housed you with those two guys. And I thought this was a strong gauntlet match. Steven, I'm shocked. What's your gripes? Why are you hating? Drink all that haterade.
I'm drinking some haterade on this one. All right. So my issue with this gauntlet, and I think it's the reason why I like the men's gauntlet better. There was a lot of shenanigans in this match. And don't get me wrong, there were shenanigans in the men's gauntlet as well. Mm-hmm. We had the Guns coming out to help Juice and stuff like that. But in the men's, if there was a shenanigan, like you said, the Guns coming out to help Juice and stuff like, and the Gates of Agony coming out to help Ricochet, they kind of came out there and then they left. I understand the thought of having a manager out there, but there were other wrestlers out there that weren't in the match. Anna Jay stayed the whole time until they fought to the back. Penelope Ford stayed the whole time until they fought to the back. Sky Blue literally took a pinfall or submitted in the match, and Mina Shirakawa said that she thought she won because she didn't realize that Sky Blue wasn't actually in the match.
Wasn't it?
Like, the only reason for Sky Blue, Anna Jay, and who else did they say, and Penelope Ford to be in this, to be down there, was to do spots.
Yep.
And here is where this is where I'm going to get mad at the shenanigans, is the spots that Anna Jay, Ty Mello, Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and then eventually Harley Cameron jumped into. Harley Cameron was the only one that did their stuff right. Everyone else's stuff looked sloppy. It looked sloppy and rushed and weak and just bad. Now then, Athena winning, awesome. I've never been so happy to be wrong in this sense because I do like Athena. If Statlander had won, I also still would have been happy because I think Statlander is almost like an untapped talent at this point. Like, she's so good, and we're still not, like, we're on the verge of using her correctly, type of thing. That's my thing. I'm just not. It was such a mess that it got too messy.
I get that. Though I thought, all in all, this was a great match. Like I said, arguably I thought it was better than the men's. But the best part about it was that I chose the winner and you didn't, sucker.
I listen, I think Athena winning was a good choice. Like I said, I just didn't see her winning this because she hasn't been regularly featured on AEW television enough.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what they're rectifying here. I don't see her winning this. I won't get into who she's facing because that match hasn't happened yet. But she will face the winner of Tony versus Mercedes.
Exactly.
The next match was a match that I thought could have been also a bit shorter because the story here wasn't really the match, but one that we both called ahead of going into it. We had, for the World Tag Team titles, we had the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed versus the Patriarchy for... Did I miss somebody? No.
Nope, you got everybody.
For the World Tag Team titles. We both had the Hurt Syndicate winning this match. They were clearly going to win this match. And it was a solid match, a really, really good affair. But there was no question in either of our minds. I don't think anyone really questioned the Hurt Syndicate keeping these titles because it's the only thing you could do.
No, and the match wasn't bad. I will say this. It would have been... So I guess the Hurt Syndicate are technically heels-ish. But yeah. Lashley and Benjamin are tweeners at best right now. MJF is definitely a heel. The problem is there was two heel teams and one babyface team, and it was not, the Hurt Syndicate was not the babyface team.
Yeah.
If, sake of argument, Hurt Syndicate was either the babyface team or they were facing two babyface teams that were, all four guys were of the size that they were, both Speedball and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is a decent sized dude, but they're both smaller than both members, either member of the Hurt Syndicate. Honestly, Benjamin might be bigger than Kevin Knight and Bailey combined. Yeah. And Lashley definitely is. And then Cage and Nick Wayne are both smaller competitors. If the other two teams were of the other genre of wrestler from whoever the champions were, I thought it would have been cool if each team basically started double teaming a member of the Hurt Syndicate and just kept that going for a while because they've been so dominant. Like, how do you stop the Hurts? Well, if Speedball and Kevin Knight both start taking out Shelton and then Christian and Nick Wayne both start taking out Bobby, like, I could see that being a good storyline until the Hurt Syndicate finally, you know what, we're tired of playing this game. We're just going to kill all four of you.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the past, and I think we talked about it in terms of Moxley. There are matches that are done where it can really showcase both competitors, or in this case, all six competitors. Instead of doing that, they just all did their own thing without everybody else kind of involved. Yep. That will always hinder a match. But the Hurt Syndicate won it. This should have been a little tighter. The real story here, Steven, is about finding yourself.
Finding yourself.
Finding it.
So we get the Patriarchy at the end of this and FTR coming in, and they're about to just decimate the remains of Christian Cage and we get the shocking return of Adam
Who
Copeland.
seen this coming?
Who would have thought? I'll tell you who would have thought it. Everyone who thought that if they did it here said it would be too rushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's now. It's going to happen now. It's going to start now. They might not fully team up right now, but he's coming back. How about Edge coming out and taking his full entrance instead of coming down to actually save somebody?
What are we doing, Penta?
Yeah, like he got his pyros and everything. He did his full entrance.
He ran to the left. He ran to the right. Took his sweet time getting down there. Christian's about to die. You gotta get there. What are you doing?
They were about to concerto him.
Mm-hmm.
But we get the evolution of them telling each other to go F themselves, and Ed or Copeland. I refuse to call him Cope. I don't care what he wants to be called. Adam Edgeland tells Christian Cage to go find himself.
Go find yourself.
You know what? I'm okay if we get a Christian Edge versus FTR series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also okay if how both of these guys end their career is eventually winning these tag team titles one time. I'd be okay with that. I think that would be a nice little thing. And those two guys are big enough stars where if they were actually the ones that beat the Hurt Syndicate at one point, I could buy it.
They're Edge and Christian. They're one of the most iconic tag teams of all time. So I'm not worried about them on that front. But this one could have been tighter. It could have been a bit of a better story in general of helping maneuver through this match. But all right, next we have the women's world title. Steven, your favorite match, I'm assuming.
Yes.
They're still throwing Storm Zeros right now for this match. But we had Timeless Tony Storm as the AEW Women's World Champion versus the belt collector in Mercedes Moné. This one we both got right, though. Steven, were you going to pick Moné and then you waffled? I know you did that with the main event, but
no, that was just the main event. I said I wanted Tony to win. I said that Tony was the right choice to win this. The thing that almost made me want to switch, but we can't switch midway through a show, would have been Athena winning. Because Athena winning, I feel like the better match series would have been Athena and Mercedes at one point.
I really agree with that. I think that's part of the reason they may have done it, is to pull you off the scent. But I'm really excited that Tony won this match, and
so happy.
Moné, it didn't collect this belt. It will help with this dynamics in the long term.
I love this match. I said I thought this was going to be my favorite match going into the show. It was my favorite match. This was my match of the weekend, as far as I'm concerned. This match pulled me in so much that I was rooting for Tony Storm during the match, like a fan would. Mm-hmm. Like just a normal fan. Like, there was a point where things were happening. I was like, come on, Tony, come on, please do this. And I meant it. I with all my heart, I wanted Tony Storm to win this, not just because that's who we picked, because my heart wanted her to win. I will say no one throws a tombstone like Tony Storm.
How many Storm Zeros did we get in this match? Like, come on, too many.
I think it was 3 total, wasn't it? It was 2 regular ones and the super one.
I think it might have been 4. I think they did 3 of the regular ones and then the avalanche.
But she also hit the tombstone when she bit her on the chochas.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Tony, fantastic.
Yeah. Here's my question. Is there any wrestler in history that has like carte blanche like that? Like Tony Storm has right now. Like, her character is so over that kind of the stuff that we might be like, oh, that's going too far. We're like, it's Toni Storm.
Yep.
Like, and
She do whatever she wants.
and she goes so far into her character that we're like, yeah, cool. The last person to buy into their character this much was Undertaker.
Yeah. And I'm here for it.
I'm so here for it.
She is the best actor in wrestling right now. Like, in all of them.
She is, I agree with you. She's the total package of character, in-ring stuff. Everything that she does makes sense. I think she's on the short list of best women's wrestlers. And when I say best women's wrestlers, I think they are also some of the best wrestlers in the world. I think she's also on that short list. She's on the top 5 of best wrestlers in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
We should probably do a rank sometime. See who we think are the best. Intergender. Just go for it. Who's the top?
Just pick who you fight.
I bet you there's a lot more women on the top of that list than you'd think.
I think so.
So fantastic match, a masterclass. I still think that the tag team match with Swerve and Ospreay versus the Bucks was a better match. Like I said, I called it like match of the year candidate at this point in time. But this one was fantastic as well. Love to see the downfall of Mercedes here to start here, even if it's not like a huge fall, but like finally she's lost.
That is true. And Showtime, how about this is something you would have done in your wrestling career? How about Mercedes entrance gear with the fur coat that had a list that had the names of every single person she's beaten since coming into AEW on there? That's something you would have done.
Yeah, that I love the cockiness of it, the setup, and she's collecting those belts. I'm curious what happens next, though. Like, let's see if they can stick to the landing with this.
Let's see.
Now for the intercontinental or continental title.
Continental.
Continental.
I don't want to get into the rules of this title anymore because they've gotten more rules since this match happened, and I'm more mad about it than ever.
And now you can carry all the belts. You have Okada versus Kenny Omega. And this one, you got me here, Steven, and it's on me. It's not on Tony. Okada was the right person to win this match. I think the issue for me was I just thought that this was the time to do this with Omega if they were ever going to do it. But the man is not going to be able to keep up the schedule of being the unified champion for the long term. After the diverticulitis, losing half of his gut, all that stuff, crazy stuff. Having
FLS, fake lat syndrome.
So, yeah, it just was kind of one of those things that you'd really, I should have really put it together that Okada was going to win this, but here we are. Steven, what was your favorite parts of this match?
I thought the match was good. I thought after the first couple minutes, Omega finally started pushing Okada to give us some real stuff. Mm-hmm. In the first couple minutes, we definitely got lazy Okada. And I was very upset. Like I went out, like I said, I literally watched this match today before we recorded. And the very first thing that they do is Okada throws the laziest toe kick ever. And like Omega has to double over because it's to his stomach. Yeah. I'm like, come on, man. Like at least act like you're earning this money. But the second half of this match, definitely worth it. I knew this was going to go a while. I knew this match was going to be a minute. I hate the fact that this is now just a different title. This is now just a new title. So I appreciate that since Okada won and he was the Continental Champion, that the inaugural unified champion was going to fall under the Continental rules, where there was going to be that you couldn't have anyone out to the ring with you. There can't be any outside interference, because like I like that whoever won their title was going to succeed as the rule set. That was kind of cool. And then they said, oh, but no, like we're still going to do the Continental Classic, and whoever wins that is going to get the Continental Championship. And you can still, we're still going to split these titles. And I'm like, well, then why did we do this?
Just add another belt.
We just added another belt that has no meaning. A unified champion. We added a unified champion, which
yet didn't unify anything.
It didn't unify anything, and it's not like this person, whoever wins this, is going to go after the world title. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just another accessory.
What can you do when you have the Continental title? You gotta strut it. You gotta get it out there. Do the thing. You good on this one?
I'm good on this one. I think I think this was about as good as it was going to get. Again, I think that they had some cool stuff in it, but it was an Omega Okada match. But I don't think it was as good as. I think, unfortunately, it was in an Okada Omega match post diverticulitis.
So for the main event, we had a match that isn't really my cup of tea. Never really big fan of the ultraviolence. And when the first thing you do is pull out a pair of forks to stab each other with, I'm usually out. But with that said, this match was awesome, and I understand why you might like it. It's just not my cup of tea. But we had in the main event, the only main event, the AEW World Title, we had Jon Moxley defending his briefcase versus Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match, where they did acknowledge that they had wrestled before in this stipulation, but they put on one hell of a match.
One hell of a match. And you know what? I said this before with AEW, that I was going to give them some credit for something. I am going to acknowledge that they did something better with their Texas Deathmatch rules comparatively to some of the other ways of doing it. The way that they used to say was the Texas Deathmatch was you were either down for a 10 you had to pin the guy, and then they had to stay down for a 10 count. Mm-hmm. I like this evolution of the rules, I guess we could call it, where the winner can win either by keeping the guy down for the 10 count, or they have to submit. Yeah. I like that. That is cool. That's a nice update to the rules, and kudos to them. Now, Showtime, there was a lot of shenanigans in this match.
Shenanigans.
We got the full return of one Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you sure it was him?
I don't know. He was wearing a mask at first.
That blue mask.
So, and we got the return of Darby Allin. So the initial the video package
coming from the ceiling was great.
Yeah, it was. Coming from that high up on the ceiling, I think was a little bit of an issue. I think it lost a little bit. I think if they had just played his music to come down and he got like the full entrance like he normally would have, I think it would have been a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I think the fans didn't realize that he was coming down, and I think that lost it a little bit. Especially since it kind of happened almost immediately after the Bryan Danielson stuff, and a lot of the fans were just paying attention to that.
Yeah. But we called him being there.
We did call him being there. I like both of them coming out, and in all honesty, I know that this was the full circle moment with Swerve coming out. I'm going to give this match the flowers that it deserves. I like that Swerve handed Hangman the chain to finish the match. And not just that he used the chain, he immediately used the chain. Like, we didn't have to wait 5 more minutes for the finish. We had to wait like 5 more seconds for him to do the next thing.
Then he hung him.
And got the tap out, which was the most overly animated tap out that I've ever seen in my life for what it was happening. I'm still not a Jon Moxley fan. I think we need to keep Jon Moxley away from here for a little bit. I think he never needs to be next to the world title ever, 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 ever again. And if Tony Khan hears this, please strip him of all of his creative freedom.
I will say, this was the quintessential Moxley match. Like, this is built for him. He was fantastic in it. Not a ton of wrestling, just a lot of just two dudes beating the ever-living crap out of each other.
I agree. And you got the ending that you wanted. You got Hangman pulling the title out of the briefcase, and the fans blew up. Like I said, they did not have the fatigue that I thought that 6 hours probably should have given them. I will say this. A lot of people are going to say, well, see, the Death Rider stuff worked. Like, the end worked. No, we just wanted to see the world title again, man. Like, it could have been anybody. It didn't have to be here. So long as we got this title off Moxley, everybody would have been happy.
And does this mean Ospreay's going to take a little break now? The way that he kind of ended this match?
I think so. I think Ospreay's taking a little break. I think a couple guys are going to be taking a minute or two off because some of these guys have ran some pretty hard match schedules. Like, I don't think they're not working, 5 nights a week, but the matches they are working are super, super rough.
But Ospreay might as well be.
That is true.
So, but everybody, that was AEW's All In. Fantastic card from start to finish.
Fantastic.
We finally have a new world champion. The belt is out of the bag, and we'll kind of see where this goes. I'm here for Paige versus MJF. I'm here to have Bobby Lashley break free of the tag team titles and get into that world title picture. Swerve's going to be up there soon. Maybe getting Swerve versus Adam Page. We will start letting this breathe. The bouquet is there. Just breathe it all in. Folks, tell us how we were right. Tell us we were wrong. Tell us what you think about these matches. Where do you think the future of AEW is going? AEW has been doing a much better job with their storytelling.
Much better.
The past couple of months, they really turned things around. So I don't have much of a complaint on that front either. Please like and subscribe, comment below. They're all down there for you to do the thing. Tell a friend about the show. If you don't have a friend, tell a stranger. And Steven,
as always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.